Okay, if you haven't already watched the video demoing this when it's all put back together, you might want to watch that first. I'll link that down below. But this is the inside view of the Thunderbird Jet Patrol, which was made around 1967 by Bandai in Japan, and it had a lot of problems. You don't see this toy very often, so I'm going to go ahead and call it rare. One of the problems is in the design of it. A lot of it is glued together. It was not meant to ever come back apart, which poses a real problem. You've got these cranks on either side which go into here to move these jet pieces in and out. But these are all staked and glued all the way around. So the only way, without totally busting them, is I had to try to very gently spread this very old, hard, brittle plastic enough to get one of the cranks out, and then I could work the other one out. There is a light in this barrel. That's what these two little wires are for, and it will flash when it's put together. Now, as far as the toy itself, it had multiple problems. The first problem, the motor was gummed up. I mean, you could barely even turn the shaft with your finger. It was so gummed up. So lubed and oiled, got that going using an external battery pack. Was able to spray some cleaner down through that little hole into the brushes. Got the motor running fairly strong. And the wheels would drive when the motor was running, but the cranks, the clicker, none of that stuff was working, and that's because there was a gear broken down in there. And you can see the new one. See that bright white shiny gear? I had to put the new gear in there. The old one was green. And in order to put the gear in there, you've got to disassemble the gearbox almost completely because of where that's buried. But in order to disassemble the gearbox, you've got to get it off the frame. But to get it off the frame, it's not a matter of just bending those tabs. These axles right here, and with wheels on them, they're all part of the gearbox. They all have to pull up through there. So that means these wheels have to come off. As you can see, there's metal there. They're pressed on. So you've got to press those off. Well, to get those off, you need to get these skids off. Well, these skids are glued on. So trying to get those off without busting everything up. Got those out of the way. Use a puller to pull the wheels off, straighten the tabs. Then I was able to lift the gearbox up. Then was able to open the gearbox up, get inside there, get the old gear out, put in a new one, reassemble all of that. Whew, what a nightmare. So, got all that stuff in there. The next biggest problem with this whole thing, it didn't have a battery door, so this is one that I've 3D printed just to suffice things. But this toy will not hold, physically, it's not big enough for modern batteries, Duracells, Energizer, Thunderbolt, all of those. They're slightly bigger around. Now these are dollar store batteries. They're smaller around. These will still fit. See how I can put them side by side and set them and they fit in there? You can't do that with any new batteries. You can put one in, no problem. But you go try to put the second one in, you can't push it in. This toy came with no battery door, and I suspect it's because through the years somebody tried to play with it and they tried to force those new batteries in and cram the battery door down and probably broke it. And so I had to go to the dollar store, get a couple dollar store batteries because they're the only ones that will fit in there. They don't quite give you the oomph that you need. I think the original door had these tabs that fit in there like that, but I suspect that hole might have been for the more common, where you turn a knob type thing and it just goes over the top to hold the battery door down. Unfortunately, the battery door was the last thing that I was going to even deal with, even if I hadn't even decided whether I was going to deal with it. But in order to put anything in there that could swing over and push down on that, I needed to be back inside. Well, there was no way I was going to tear this whole thing back apart. So I kind of went with an alternative design where I simply have a little lever that will slide once this door is pushed all the way down like that and hold that down in place. Okay, so on the back you've got a 3-position switch. Center is off so it can go forward and reverse. If I can move it. So you can see all those cranks turn. The clicking is when the light will be flashing. The light flasher will solder on there. And right now I think it'd be going in reverse. Yes. So let's go the other way. So there's your forward. These poor dollar store batteries don't have much oomph. As far as steering, there is a wheel here that has a little ratchet point that you can force it into so you could go in circles if you wanted left or right. And it will lock back. So at this point, if you want to see the toy operate, check the link down below for the demo of the Thunderbird Jet Patrol.